A call for help from a kidnapping victim in Phoenix, Arizona.
Mina, they got the gun to my head right now. I'm taped up, and please tell my kids I love them. Don't tell them get to the bank right now. Give them this money. I'm telling you, I love all of y'all. I'm about to die.
Such calls have become an almost daily event in Phoenix, now the kidnapping capital of America, with 370 kidnappings last year alone.
This is a very real problem, and Phoenix and the Arizona area here is in the eye of the storm. And if it doesn't stop here, if we're not able to fix it here and get it turned around, it will go across the nation, and that's our concern.
But already, kidnapping and other crimes connected to the Mexican drug cartels are spreading across the border from Texas to California.
Hey, police, search warrant! Open the door!
And officials complain that Washington has ignored the problem coming from Mexico, too obsessed with al-Qaeda terrorists.
I hope the federal government doesn't spend so much time or focus on just terrorists, and they forget about another kind of terrorists, kidnapping terrorists, extortion terrorists, drug cartel terrorists, because those, for the average Californian or the average American, may be a more immediate threat to their well-being.
And that is already an immediate threat in Phoenix, which last year had more kidnappings than any other city in the world except Mexico City.
Get off the bed, go to the front door.
As Mexican drug organizations have moved across the border, they've brought with them their violent ways and disregard for human life, chopped off hands, legs, and heads that has made them so feared in Mexico.
And they're ruthless. So now they're ripping each other off, but they're doing it in our city.
What hand do you want?
And local criminals like 32-year-old Ronald Guilford have followed suit, as he made clear in this call to his victim's wife.
I want you to understand something. I have dude in my bathtub right now, okay? I have him duct tape. I'm about to cut his hand off. Which hand would you like? Left or right hand?
Okay.
The left or right hand? Pick one.
The kidnapping took place in a quiet family neighborhood in North Phoenix 3 years ago. The victim, a suspected drug dealer himself, was being held in this house as his kidnapper, Guilford, demanded a $2,500 ransom.
I have a bitch here that's going to cut him to pieces, okay? I'm not playing any games. He disrespected me, and he's going to pay for that, whether it's with the $2,500 cash or with his hand and life, okay? I'll call you back.
Hello, sir?
Nina, I'm about to cut my damn. He disrespects me again, I cut his leg off.
Okay,
Okay?
What am I saying?
Do you hear me? Do you hear me?
What do you want me to
hear
say? Yes, I hear you.
You tell him, okay, that he plays any more games from this point on. His body will be on him, okay? He disrespects me, talks over me, anything, anymore, okay? This dude will bleed to death, okay? I want that money. I want that money confirmed, and I want that money confirmed in a hurry.
In the end, police were able to find the house before Guilford could carry out his threats. He is now serving 25 years in prison. But there have been hundreds more kidnappings since then, in what were thought to be nice parts of town.
We have more and more vacant homes, more and more rental properties that are available. And so this could happen in any neighborhood, and it does. We find it all across the valley. We have maps up here that are showing some of the areas that we've had these issues. We also showing some of the weaponry that we come across. These are very dangerous situations. They're not only dangerous situations for our community, they're extremely dangerous situations for our officers that have to go out and track these guys and arrest these folks.
There is much to fear as the kidnappers and drug organizations carry out their crimes or flee police as they move around Phoenix. In some cases, dozens of people at a time have been kidnapped, often illegal aliens, with ransom being demanded from their relatives in Mexico.
When the entry team made entry, they found that there were 22 people that were here being held against their will. It appears that there were 7 suspects that were holding them at gunpoint.
The crime wave has forced the Phoenix police to create a special unit just to handle all the kidnappings, pulling more than a dozen officers off other assignments.
Because we deal with so many of these, we're absolute experts at these.
On this day, Sergeant Phil Roberts had his hands full with 3 cases ongoing and cells full of suspects being questioned.
Here it is probably going on, 8, 9 o'clock at night. Almost all of my detectives are on overtime. I've got patrol officers tied up watching these prisoners. We had fixed-wing aircraft up earlier in the day. I've got 2 SWAT teams out. We're watching other locations right now trying to find our victim. And our victim's probably being brutalized. He's probably being beat up and tortured, and God knows what else is taking place. And we don't look at it whether he's illegal or illegal. We look at it as if he's a human being, that he's being tortured out there. And we've got to do everything we can to try to rescue that individual.
The victim, Jesus Cabanillas Zazueta, has been in the hands of kidnappers for 3 days, with the ransom demand now at $50,000.
The victim's wife is in this room, and we keep her usually with one of our detectives, and we monitor the phone calls. We have weapons. We have dope.
Detectives come back from the victim's house with guns and drugs, confirming the belief that the victim himself is a drug dealer.
Cocaine. This stuff, it belongs to the victim, and potentially came from his house.
It did come from his house.
Hours later, a break in the case, and police move in.
We had undercover officers watching the house till the SWAT team got up here. That suspect took off running in a foot pursuit. We caught him. He's armed with a handgun. But we do have our victim inside the house. He's duct taped up. This is our victim. This is probably just a few seconds after the SWAT team went in. You can see he's all tied up. Rolled him over. You can see the duct taping around his mouth. Looks like he's probably got a broken nose. He's been beaten. Very typical experience for our kidnappings victims out here.
Untied, the victim is brought outside to be treated by fire department medics. He says he was tied up with his eyes covered the whole time. No food, no dinner, but that he's okay now.
Everything's looking normal. His blood pressure's up just a little bit, but he's going to be okay.
It all comes to an end because we rescued somebody. Someone's not going to die tonight. We can go to bed, realize that, whether he's a drug dealer, coyote, legal, resident, citizen of the United States, doesn't matter. And we saved a human life tonight. We absolutely saved him, because if we've not done this, more likely than not, he would have been killed.